So hey everyone, welcome to the show So You Want to Become, and I'm your host Krishna Ranganathan. Today we have someone who has redefined animation in India, Mr. Suresh Eriyat. Sir, I'm pleased to have you here.
Thank you so much, Krishna.
Yeah. So Sir is the founder of Eeksaurus Studios, and he has painted over 500 films. 500 films, right, sir?
500 films, maybe more, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm looking forward.
So he has his major films like Fisher Woman and Tuk Tuk, Tokri and Kanditundan. This is like brought the major storytelling, something which has inspired him in real life, and he has brought it into his storytelling. So it's his mentorship and its style of storytelling. It's hard to overstate. So I'm happy to have you here. So let's start, sir. Let's start with the beginning of how you started.
Yeah.
How did it all happen to you?
So I was not like someone who wanted to do animation from the childhood or something. So I grew up in a small town in Kerala near Kochi called Tripunithura, a temple town. And like everyone else during those years, I also wanted to be an engineer, preparing for IIT, and because those are the only options that were available. And since the entire batch of 20 students, we all wanted to either majority wanted to become engineers, and some of them doctors, like the usual. So, and after 11th, completely by accident, I used to go for painting competitions. My father used to take me actually. And one of the painting competitions, I had done the painting, and after that, the people will come inside the auditorium to just see everyone's work, right? I mean, parents and everyone would come. And my father also generally accompanies me, so he would stand behind as if he's not related to me, just to see how audience will react to my painting. And I would be walking around and seeing other people, seeing if somebody is painted better than me. So, and a stranger, this competition happened in Kerala, in Tripunithura only, during the Onam season. And a man came and told my father, "This is amazing painting. Whose is this?" My father proudly said, "It's my son's." He said, "You should go to NID." So my father didn't know what is NID. He said, "National Institute of Design. You should go there." And almost like a sign. We never saw that man again. And that's the first time we are. And this, you must remember, this is in 1990. And in 91, I got through to NID after my 12th. They take only 30 students from the entire country, highly competitive. And that's the first time I came to Chennai for my entrance examination. And there is where I was actually oriented and introduced. Animation was introduced to me. And I was still not in love with animation because it was too tedious a process. So eventually I studied communication design, and then it's a 5-year course that you have to go through with almost all disciplines in communication. We learn film and video, graphic design, exhibition design, and animation was one of them. So eventually I specialized in animation because one of my teachers recommended that to me for whatever reason that she had. I was the only student in animation out of the 30, and that's how I got into it. It was not something that was premeditated, not like I was born and I wished to become an animation filmmaker. I used to draw. So that's why I used to go for these painting competitions. I used to sing also because I was trained in Carnatic music. So and these are two great ingredients that go into films, music and sound and visuals. So I think somewhere these influenced me, and a lot of stories and things that I had absorbed while growing up gave me that sort of space eventually to make them real using animation.
So that's actually very inspiring. So it's just not like you had planned everything out. It
Nothing.
just happened. It just happened by like, okay, so you went to a painting competition and they suggested, why don't you?
Said like
Somebody said something, and
Yeah.
but it took you to a great level.
These are signs I see. These are some divine alignment somewhere where things are pre-programmed for you. You feel like, but that's how it happened, and I was interested in it. But I knew when I came out of NIT, it was not very easy. It's a 5-year course. After that, what do you do after that? Animation was very, very nascent at that time. There was nobody who would give you a job in animation. So that was the situation back then. But I was interested in telling my own stories, and I wanted to make my own films. I was, by the end of NID, after 5 years, when I got out of that place when I was 23, I really wanted to make films somehow. So that spirit it gave me.
We should always, as always, just trust the process, whatever it is. When you're done through it,
Yeah, the trusting the process is always a great thing, but you always doubt it during the
true.
process. You're like, am I in the right track? And the challenges are heavy, but somehow if you have a sort of belief that this is something that I want to do, I want to make films. Somewhere in the back of the mind, that was pulsating, that I want to make films, and using animation. That combination was there somewhere, which was getting louder and louder in my mind, and I think that eventually manifested into whatever I could do in the space.
So you had tried to like launch before Eeksaurus. You had tried to launch a famous house of animation.
I launched it.
You launched it.
Yeah.
You launched it, and then you also then you later launched Eeksaurus. So what exactly transpired during the events?
Okay, I'll tell you. Famous House of Animation was set up in partnership with famous studios, very legendary studios in Bombay, and the idea of setting up such a space was to create original Indian animation films. It was way back in '98. I was too excited. I was 24 years old. I got together some of the wonderful animation people, very young like me. We all got together and we wanted to make, we wanted to convert Amar Chitra Kathas, which were very popular during our growing up years. It had all the stories from India, epics and, historical heroes, Panchatantra. All these stories were like in the form of books, and we could access them very easily. And knowing that it is such a precious thing, I wanted to make it in a televised form so that people could access it in animation. And that was the original idea, which I kind of convinced famous studios people that we can make that. But I had no idea that there was no market for animation or animated series that time, because there was not even a cartoon channel in India in '98. So we made one pilot episode because the famous director was very keen that I made it. And after that he said, "Now Suresh, what do we do?" So I said, "Yeah, I made it." "No, selling?" I said, "That is not my business. I don't know how to sell." He said, "No, let's go to the market and ask people," which is not the right way to do it. You should actually find out there is a market first and then make it. But again, I would think that's a sign. If he had gone out to find out a market, probably he wouldn't have even got me in to make a film. So I made the film, and he realized there is no market. Nobody wants animated series. He said, "Suresh, pack up and leave." And that's when I had to take some hard decisions. I went and told him that I gathered this nice set of team. Let me continue. I will take care of the income. Whatever I will go out and market. If for some other work, and if I bring the money, you keep them, because I was still I was an employee there. I was not like, but I set up a company. Then I started going to agencies, asking them for work. I started doing storyboards myself because I was good at it, and we started getting work. And then Channel V, MTV, these companies started giving us some. They had confidence in the kind of work we are doing. We didn't mind getting exploited because we were getting people. These channels, TV channels, were like YouTube for us. So we could actually put our work out there and people could get to see it. So it really worked wonders for us. Then advertising agencies saw our merit, and then eventually we started getting work. And we did a few first. We introduced the first clay animated commercial. We did the first ever 2D animated music video, and many firsts and many awards in the next 11 years till 2009. And then we created Studio Eeksaurus, primarily to take the canvas even bigger. I wanted to even work with live action because as a designer, I think stories come first, medium second. So whatever medium I would deploy to create the film and the story come alive. So we did the first ever ad for Google in the country, and Google was very skeptical whether India can handle the hyper creative ads they used to do. But what we made for them really was at par with the kind of quality that they were maintaining. And then Google started trusting India to do their ads. So there were many such steps that happened through the years, which kind of made things happen the way I wanted to. And at Eeksaurus, I started making our own stories, our own films, because it was time for me to introduce local content in the form of animation to our people, Indian audiences. So that's something that I started doing at Studio Eeksaurus.
So how long have you been in this animation industry?
I've been, it sounds like a dinosaur, like Eeksaurus, That's I've been around for 28 years. I came to Bombay in 97, and now it is 25. So it's been 2 years. It'll be 30 years.
Almost reaching 30 years. Yeah. Sir, how have you seen the animation scene change over the world, over the time in India?
I mean, I think it has grown tremendously. The acceptance, the channels, the outlets are there. A lot of outlets are there for animation now. Whether what they show through those outlets is acceptable in terms of quality, it may be questionable. I may not be able to say that whatever we are seeing from India, they are great. But it's definitely a big change from a time when there was hardly any stories that were... Animation was never used to tell stories. It was always used in advertisements or logos or some character or a mascot or something like that. It was never used to tell stories. As it never got the recognition of a storytelling medium like live action. Like, Bollywood and everything, you use real actors. We call it live action. That was always considered as a main medium of storytelling in the film media. But animation was always looked at as a technical thing. It was never seen as like a full-fledged medium to tell stories. And the amazing thing about animation is they're timeless. They don't decay with time. I mean, you may not watch a film from the 60s, but you may watch a cartoon or an animation from the 60s. It still holds somewhere heart and life that could entertain you. So I love the medium, and I've been experimenting with a lot of different mediums all these years.
So you've talked to a lot of young animators and mentored them. So what would be the one piece of advice? I mean, I have a friend who is now trying to go into design, web animation, and all that stuff. So, what would be the advice that you give to them to get better or to achieve success in this line?
See, in India, one of the problems that I see in this industry is that 90-95% of this industry is skill based, and the skill base in such a way that it is serving an industry like a service industry, where Hollywood films are getting finished in India. So Indian animators are not, their story ideas are never used. It's only their animation skills that are used in the films. So, which is fine as an industry, but unless we tell our own stories, there won't be a robust audience or a market for animation in India. So I would urge a lot of young people to appreciate, if you love anime coming from Japan, I would like to say that Japanese started making anime for themselves first, for the local content, for the local audience. It is by design or by accident that the world started loving it. So if we create something for ourselves, which we only consume, which is authentic to us, it can become huge tomorrow. Even if animated content becomes a hit in India, we are sitting with a population of 1.5 billion. That itself is a massive market. So my advice to young people is to not look at animation as a gimmick thing, but it's a medium to tell stories. Of course, there are very interesting skills that you may be able to learn, but don't limit it to skill. Take it to the storytelling space. We need more younger people coming up to making animated films and telling stories. So they have to, and it's not an easy space. It takes a lot of years and time and dedication. So it's not a quick thing that you study for 1 year and you can do something.
So you work a lot with the Indian themes, the Indian stories, the Indian humor, the emotion. How do you approach to this? Especially in a way that feels local but yet universal.
Hey, there are two aspects to it. I think one aspect is I know only Indian things, which are genuinely. If I try and do something what the British would do, it will be fake. I mean, I'll be trying to, tell their story without the cultural context. Performance may not be as right as how they would do it. But here I know the people, I know the culture. It's the familiarity that drives me. Familiarity with my surroundings is a driving force to tell the stories from local. And I find us quite interesting as our local culture, behavior, everything is interesting. I mean, when you see it from a lens like that. What makes it universal is probably the medium, because animation doesn't really stick to a particular region. It is an art at the end of the day. If it had me as a character, probably only a few people would have seen it. But me as a character drawn has a different appeal altogether, because it's a drawing. So that makes it more universal. It can travel a lot. It can spread a lot more than India. So I believe local is the way to go, because we know the local things much better. It's we are in Chennai today. I mean, you may be able to do a pasta, but how authentic would the pasta be? I mean, when we say that, okay, this is an Indian Chinese we make, it's not like the Chinese that you eat in China. But we start creating our own thing. But we know how to make our dosa and our idli and everything the best possible way.
As authentic as it can be.
As authentic as it can be. You can't get it in Bombay. You can't get it in Bombay. You can't get it even in Bangalore, the Chennai idli and the sambar. So, the authenticity is a very important thing. And India being a very diverse country with so much of differences. I mean, I am from Kerala, Tamil Nadu is the neighboring state. There's so much of difference in the food habits, in the language. Scripts are not even understandable by both the sides. The scripts are so different. Similarly, there are several behavioral things that are so different. I mean, the authenticity is there in both spaces. So, but animation can have a common language.
I mean, authenticity is like, each state has its own.
Its own.
So, but what you're trying to say is, sir, like, the one thing that just joins, irrespective of all diversities, whether it be, for example, an anime from Japan or an American comic or an Indian animation, it's just the animation. It's just the medium of communication.
I think it's the art that unifies people. If, an actor, for example, like a Mohanlal film, may not do as well as it will do in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu.
Correct.
Similarly, maybe a Vijay film may not do as great in Kerala because he's very rooted in, and that it's in flesh and blood, these people. But moment you make a character out of these people, it transcends that local feel, and it gets acceptable in other cultures as well. Like say Fisherwoman and Tuk Tuk.
Okay.
It's a film about, loosely based on a Maharashtrian Kohli, fisherwoman family space. So, but it appeals to, I think, the entire country. The audiences that watch the film, I think, belongs to the whole country.
The viewing membership speaks for itself.
Yeah, so we can see the comments coming from all sections of India. So that's what art does in one way. It doesn't really look at where is she from. And like in India, what happens is when, like a hero, earlier it used to happen, when in the 90s, a concept of a hero in South India is a guy with mustache. But a concept of villain in the North is a guy with mustache. So they can never accept a guy from South as a hero there. It's unthinkable. They have to be clean shaven, they have to be, there's a different way they have to look. So the concepts also keep changing. Now today, stubbles are acceptable by all the actors, slightly not clean shaven sort of a thing. It's acceptable. So things keep changing as we people accept things. There are several, like Manoj Vajpayee acts as a hero with mustache. It's now that acceptance has grown, but earlier it was like pretty, boxed.
The bar was set low.
This is the way it has to be.
Sir, so before we let you go, I'd like to ask you one last question. What excites you the most about the next generation of storytellers in India?
I'm pretty inspired by a few of them. They want to tell their local stories, and to some extent I'm also satisfied that some of the seeds that we've sown with our films and things, where we made local stories and made it, they've all traveled the globe through film festivals. I think this probably is a small factor in so many young people wanting to make their own films using animation. And that's a big change. If more people start making Indian content using animation, then the whole scenario changes in the country. So I really dream that whatever I'm working towards is to catalyze that phase for Indian animation.
Sir, I do hope that more animators from India do share the Indian stories, not Indian stories as in what's happening around them. So we know it better from the inside than the outside.
Absolutely. And And by Indian, I don't mean things that you see around, but there are several amazing writers from India. You can take their stories, and you can write your own story. It doesn't need to be from Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all those things. It can be anything that you can create. There are so much of folk stories, treasure house of folk stories. Every region in India has their own folk stories. I mean, I made a film based on my father's ghost stories. Aditi Krishnadas directed the film. Ghosts also change within some 100 kilometers. The nature of ghosts, their appearances, that change in this country. So that is the kind of diversity that we have. So, the stories have so much possibilities, and there are unlimited avenues are there to tell local stories.
It's a web of art. What do you say?
Except for?
I said, would you say it's a web of art?
Yeah, I mean, it's a web of stories in this country. We just need to dig it out. I mean, you travel, if you go to, go to Pondicherry or Mahabalipuram by a taxi, talk to the taxi driver. He will tell you 10 things of the kind of ghost that he's seen on the road. I'm saying everybody has their own store of stories. And because this country is rich with experiences.
Correct. And it's, as you said, it's all very diversified.
Yeah. I mean, in the US, you may be sitting in a car and driving for hours and hours in a straight road without seeing even one ghost. But here, you tend to see so many. I'm just kidding. But I'm saying people imagine so much here. And
the creativity.
Creativity is there. You stop at a tea shop in the night when you're driving, and that guy will tell you 10 things that will be so interesting.
So thank you for being here. It's been a fantastic time.
Thanks a lot.